Here's a story that happened to Kim and her husband at a cheap sushi restaurant. Kim and her husband had a very bizarre experience at a cheap sushi restaurant. They ate only 7 dishes, but they were told the bill was $250. Of course, it couldn't possibly be that much, so they disagreed with the clerk. The clerk seemed to get upset and told them to pay without listening to them at all. Eventually, the clerk called the police and Kim and her husband were confused. Then the clerk started telling the police an incredibly fact. What will be the end? We only had 7 plates of sushi at a restaurant, but the clerk said, your bill is $250 when I found out about it.
Please listen to my very bizarre experience. It happened at a sushi restaurant. It was our favorite cheap chain restaurant in our neighborhood. We saw the limited time menu on the TV commercial, and my husband and I decided to go there just for that. So we headed for there in good spirits. We arrived there and ordered the limited time menu as planned. After we enjoyed the meal for about 30 minutes, we were about to pay the bill. Can I have the bill, please?
Then the clerk said, thank you, that will be $250. We were astonished at this incredible bill. It was very weird because we ordered only 7 plates of sushi. We only had a limited time menu and the most expensive one was about $3. So it couldn't have been a whopping $250. We thought it was just a mistake. So excuse me, I think you gave me the wrong bill. I told the clerk politely. Then he checked the slip again, and no, it was $250. He didn't bat an eye and said that, and it surprised me and my husband turned pale. So I asked him, well, wasn't the highest price on the limited time menu about $3? Then he said, yes, it was. So I said, we've only had 7 plates. And he said, what? It can't be this much if only 7 plates. He snickered at us for saying that as if we were crazy. We argued that the bill was wrong. We really only ate 7 plates of sushi. So there's no way the bill can be $250. Even if you say so, there's proof it's been properly ordered. I want you to stop making excuses and pay up, please. The clerk was getting upset without even trying to listen to us.
My husband was pale, but he asked the clerk, may I see the bill? You see, here it is. Can you see more orders on the slip? He showed us the bill and it actually listed hundreds of sushi dishes, but we couldn't believe that the bill was ours. Are you sure this is ours? We've only been here for about 30 minutes. That's why we didn't order this much. My husband said that, and he tried very hard to convince the clerk, but even if you say so, this bill is definitely yours. See the seat numbered arrival time. That must be yours, right? The clerk said so, tapping the bill with his finger. We were so confused and had no idea how this happened. We can't pay you $250 because we haven't eaten this much. I told him because I wanted to stop the argument, and he had a fit. If you say you can't pay me, then I have no choice. Then I'm going to call the police now, so please wait there, he said. I asked him, what, the police? Then he said, yes, if you don't pay me, I have to. Because we wouldn't give away $250 worth of sushi for free. So I said, okay, then please call the police. It was kind of a little scary to be in trouble with the police, but we weren't lying, and we wanted to make it clear, so we let him call the police. While we were sitting and waiting for the police to come, the clerk was staring at us. It was like we were being watched, so I didn't feel good. I was upset that he treated us like criminals. My husband said, I'm sure there's been a mistake, and the police will solve it soon. And he made me feel a little bit better. After a while, a police officer arrived. We went over to the police officer and the clerk. Then the clerk pointed at us. They are trying to dine and dash. He said that out of the blue. We got panicked. We won't do that, but the bill we're being charged is so far from what we ordered, so we're just saying we can't pay for something we didn't eat. When I explained the situation to the police officer, he couldn't seem to understand it, and he asked me that. Then I said, we've only had 7 plates of sushi. We came here only to try the limited time menu on TV commercial. Took time and stayed for about 30 minutes, so there was no way we could have spent $250. Then the police officer said, I see, but the restaurant seems to have orders for $250. So I said it seems that, but we have no idea. Do you think we can eat that much sushi in just 30 minutes? We're here just the 2 of us. As I said so, the police didn't get it as well. Then all of a sudden, the clerk talked about the new information. It wasn't just the 2 of you, right? Someone took sushi home, she ordered. I was surprised and asked him, What do you mean by that? Then he said, I got her order over the phone. She told me to put the bill on your table. Even if you only had 7 plates here, Someone ordered over the phone and made it to go. That's why the total bill is $250. My husband and I didn't expect him to say that, so we both froze. The police officer stared at us and asked us, "That's what it sounds like. Do you remember?" So I said no. Anyway, why did someone want to put the pill on our table? Besides, you didn't say anything about that earlier. Then the clerk said, "Didn't I tell you?" But that's what happened. He showed us the bill again. "Can you pay me now?" He said so. Can you tell me who made the reservation?" I asked him. It was Kim. The clerk mentioned my name, which I was shocked. Moreover, the phone number was also my cell phone number. My husband and I were astonished. We didn't make the reservation. It was my name, but I didn't make the reservation. I said, "But it was your name and phone number, right?" The police officer asked me that, and I was driven into a corner, but I really wasn't lying. So yes, somehow it was my name and phone number. Who did pick up the sushi? I asked the clerk. He looked up trying to remember, and then she looked like an old lady, but that's all. She left as soon as she got it. When she came here, she told me to put the bill on you. He said that? Oh, so you just accepted it without even verifying her? Police officers seemed to be on our side this time. Then the clerk was panicking and said, "Well, she told me you guys would pay." He was mumbling like that. Then the police officer pointed out, "But it's weird. The lady knew your name. It means she must have an acquaintance of you, right?" He asked me, and I was wondering, but I had no idea. Then my husband said something outrageous. I wondered if they were my mom and dad. Then I asked him, "What? Do you think they would do this?" "But the only lady who knows your name and phone number is." "I can only think of my mom," he said. The police officer asked my husband, "Your mom?" So my husband said, "Yes, she's my mom and living with us." "You didn't tell her we're coming here. Maybe she was secretly listening in." "Then, can you try to call her just in case?" The police officer asked him. So he called Tammy, but she didn't answer. He couldn't even talk to Tom, so we didn't know what else to do. Then the clerk lost his patience and said, "If it could be your family, could you pay me anyway? Or call that person right now? Or that person right here now?" He said the police officer seemed to agree with them. "For now, pay him and let me know again if it doesn't seem to be your family," the police officer told us. So we reluctantly decided to pay him. "The clerk has been a sour face, and I'm sorry, but I don't want you to do this again." He told us like that. I really feel bad about being treated like a criminal, but I couldn't say anything because I'm not sure if my in-laws did it or not. "For now, I'll go home and talk to them, and I'll get back to you when I find out." I told him that and left the restaurant. We weren't convinced and got out of there and headed home in a hurry, and we were so shocked to see the living room. As we predicted, my in-laws and brother and sisters-in-laws were eating sushi. I had no idea what was happening. Then my husband asked his mother, "That sushi, I know it was you who ordered it. Oh, this? Did you pay for me?" Tammy wasn't feeling bad and asked my husband like that, so she annoyed us. "We didn't know you ordered it, so we were arguing with the clerk a few minutes ago. Besides, he called the police." My husband said that. "Well, why not? The police? It was a big deal, wasn't it?" Tammy, Tom, and brother and sister-in-laws were laughing at us, as if it had nothing to do with them. Of course, my husband and I were so upset with them. "How could you laugh at us? You don't even know how we were treated at that restaurant," I said to them, and Tammy said, "Well, that's all right. I let you go because everything was okay, right?" So I said to her, but we weren't convinced and left there. But Tammy didn't feel bad and said, "The fact is I ordered sushi, even if you weren't convinced." My husband asked her, "Why didn't you call me?" Then Tammy said, "Because you guys seemed to be sneaking out to eat, and it was easier to order as much as I wanted, instead of asking you guys every single dish." My husband got upset and told her we thought it was his mistake, and we were arguing with him. But Tammy still didn't feel bad and said, "No, you're wrong, but it was good that he realized it." My husband got so upset and said, "It wasn't good. We caused trouble for the restaurant and the police. It was our favorite restaurant, but we can't go there again." He's right. "I want you to call the restaurant and apologize to the clerk for now," I told Tammy. Then she was surprised and said, "What? Why me?" And my husband said, "Who else? We're too embarrassed to call him anymore. Why are my bro and sister-in-law even here anyway? Did you guys know what mom did?" My brother-in-law was surprised when he was suddenly asked, but he laughed at us and said, "Well, I kind of noticed it's not a big deal. Thanks for the sushi." He made us so upset. We were outraged and yelled at them, who were eating sushi without listening to us. Please apologize to him either in person or by phone now. You caused a big trouble. Then Tammy said, I just ordered sushi, so I don't want to apologize. I didn't cause any trouble. But my husband said, you didn't let us know and ordered it. That's why this happened. So you deserve to apologize, right? First of all, I want you to apologize to us. What the heck is $250? Who eats this much? Then my brother-in-law said, oh, we're going to take it home and have it tomorrow. That's why we ordered more. Thanks. But my husband told him clearly, no, you have to pay me. Then brother-in-law asked, why? So my husband said, are you asking me why? We'll be financially tight because of you. Then brother-in-law said, oh no, you'll be fine. Unlike us, you guys don't have any kids. That's not the point. Anyway, all you have to do is pay us. My husband said clearly and they all booed. But we didn't care. We had a hard time. We found out the fact so-called the restaurant anyway. Of course, I made the call right next to Tammy and the clerk answered the phone. Hello, this is Kim. I talked to you before. The clerk said, oh yes. How was it? So I said, I'm sorry. They were my in-laws after all. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. Then he said, oh, I knew it. So I said, my mother-in-law will talk to you now. One moment, please. Tammy really didn't want to talk to him, but my husband glared at her, so she had to talk to him. Tammy said, hello, I'm kind of sorry. I'm sorry you got involved in our mess. I hope this won't happen again. I could hear the clerk saying so. Tammy replied shortly and handed the phone to me. I'm really sorry again. Bye. I hung up the phone. Tammy glared at me and said, hey, why did you make me apologize? You apologized, so I didn't need to. She said like that, but my husband said, I'm sure you started it anyway, right? I know you always come up with these things. He accused her and then she had egg on her face without saying anything. But it was only her to be blamed. You guys knew that Tammy ordered without telling us, right? We really don't appreciate what you guys did. Don't forget to pay us. Tammy looked remorseful when I said that. However, my brother-in-law seemed to be convinced. You guys are overreacting. It was a bad idea that the clerk called the police anyway. Did he have to go that far? He said that, but my husband told him, well, when you eat it out next time, I'll follow you and order without telling you. When he said that, he instantly panicked and said, okay, I'm sorry. I went too far. If my mom ever says anything like this again, I'll stop her. He apologized to us. Well, even though he apologized to us, we weren't going to forgive him so easily. To be honest, we've always been bothered by my in-laws. They really are selfish people. My brother-in-law lives in the neighborhood, but my in-laws have moved in with us without asking us. We lived in a cheap apartment for a while after we got married. But as we saved up the money and decided to buy our own home, they started bothering us. We were wondering why they bothered us, and as soon as we moved into our own home, Tammy came to us and said, we'll be living here too starting today. We've already moved out of my house, so don't kick us out. My husband and I really didn't want them to live with us, but it was too late, you know? We've been living together since then. My brother-in-law's house has a rental, and he has kids, so he doesn't have a lot of room. That's why they moved into our house. I love the new house. Everything looks so shiny. Well, don't be so disappointed, Kim. I can at least help you cook. Tammy told me like that. It didn't make me feel better, though. By the way, we've been living together for 2 years now, but she's never helped me cook. Not even once. I talked about her moving in, but I've been bothered by Tammy in many other ways. That's why I'm outraged when something like this happens. I wonder how much more she would bother us. It seems that my husband felt the same way. He knew that I was too frustrated to speak, so he told her for me, I've always let you go when you bothered us because you're my family. But I won't tolerate it if you do something selfish like this from now on. For now, I want my dad and mom to get out of my house. And I don't want my brother and sister-in-law to come to my house. When my husband said that, my in-laws and brother and sister-in-law were so surprised. You don't really kick us out for saying that. They were laughing at him, but they pissed him off. I was surprised as well. Suddenly, he was starting to put Tammy's stuff into a bag, and he was going to take it out. Tammy was panicked and stopped him. Hey, what are you doing? She asked. I'm in to take all of your stuff out right now. My husband said, what? Why? Tammy was panicked. You don't think I'm serious, right? Then I'll show you how serious I am right now. After saying this, he began to take their stuff out of the house without even listening to Tammy. I was taken aback. But more than that, my in-laws were upset. But more than that, I was taken aback. My in-laws were upset. Then when he finished taking most of their stuff out, he looked at Tammy in the eye and said, "Now it's you guys. Get out of my house." When he told them, Tammy turned pale and started apologizing to him. "I'm sorry. Don't be so mad." Tom also said, "You know we know where to go if you kick us out." But my husband said, "You know where to go. You can go to my brother's house. Small or not, it's better than staying outside. You take good care of them, bro. We'll stay out of it from now on." He said that and kicked them out of his house. "They can't live in my house." My brother-in-law said that, and my sister-in-law also turned pale. But I let my husband take care of them. My husband didn't forgive anyone after all. You guys should reflect on what you did. I won't let you in until you realize how bad you were. He said that and slammed the door. I felt like applauding my husband for that. They were locked out and apologized respectively outside the door. "Hey, I'm sorry. Please let me in," Tammy said. "You guys, please. We won't be able to live in a small house," Tom said. "I'm sorry. I know how bad I was, so forgive me. I'll also pay you." "I can't live with my parents," my brother-in-law said. But my husband and I didn't say anything. After a while, they seemed to go away. I felt so good. That's why I came to write this in my quiet house. My husband and I are not going to forgive our family for now. My husband is usually a quiet guy, so I was surprised too that he lost his temper like that. But my husband has made me feel better, so I'd like to enjoy a quiet and peaceful time for a while. I'm hoping that Tammy and my brother-in-law's family will be very sorry for what they've done, but if they can't, maybe we'll just cut ties and be done with them. Well, I'm fine with that. It wasn't a bizarre story in the end, but I'm so glad that they were punished. Thanks everyone for hearing me out.
The truth behind the incident at the sushi restaurant was surprising. The listeners also seemed to be surprised at the end result. However, Kim and her husband found out what their family did, and Kim's husband punished them so it made Kim feel better, and all the listeners seemed to be happy with them.
My in-laws have to live in a small house, and they'll regret what they've done.
What would you do if you had to go through what Kim went through this time?